thank you for your patience. This is week 5 of our course. The drama is building. Luckily, we're all doing well in our presentations. What I want to do very quickly here, in part for the 30 of us, in part for the people who can't be here for mostly good reasons, I want to walk through sort of where we are in the course now. Okay, you've got 3 or 4 immediate tasks. The first immediate task has to do with your persona. What I mean by this is keep in mind that the goal of our class is to prepare a presentation for a group of experts in Paris on the 14th of July of this year. And what I want you to do is think about that audience and how you want to project a certain personality to that audience. Now, as I explained a second ago, you basically have 2 choices here. You can either just be yourself, okay? Or you can project a fictional personality. Both are good, neither is right, neither is wrong, but what I want you to do is decide, and I want you to express that personality in 3 sentences. The traditional place to personalize your presentation and yourself in public is either your first 2 or 3 sentences. Oh, hi everyone. I'm really pleased to be here. I've just flown in from New Delhi, India, where I was, blah, blah, blah.
Dog.
Right? Right, I was reincarnating as a dog. Okay. That's very funny, actually. Okay, that's the one way to do it. The other way to do it is to walk in, basically, communicate the topic and your thesis just immediately, and then say, oh, before I get going on this, let me introduce myself, and then you talk to you about, hi, how are you? And then you explain, in 3 sentences who you are and kind of what you're about. Okay? So that's immediate task 1 is decide on this. Emphasizing fiction is fine. And once again, how fictional, that's completely up to you. Okay, the second immediate task is to take a deep breath and decide, make something close to a final decision on your myth. I really want to emphasize the importance of having 3 versions of it. Okay, and this is where a little bit of research is helpful. And as I've said before, the 3 versions are, in most cases, like simple version, really simple, Wikipedia type version, a more elaborate version where you get some of the historical and cultural nuance in there, and the third one is the scholarly. Okay, now, I'm not saying that you have to read all of those, you have to study all of those, but I want you to find them and take a quick look at all 3. And the reason for that is not that I want you to be great mythology scholars at all. That's nothing to do with it. It's that seeing that there is a difference and there is like a shifting of the story, and the story is not stable, will help you do 2 things. Number 1, write the paper, but above all, it will help you make your decisions about what you think that myth means. Okay, and that's the whole how do I want to say this? That's the key thing in this whole exercise, is deciding from your either 5,000-year myth or 50-year myth, depending on what kind of myth you're doing, what you want it to mean primarily. And that, you have to be decisive about that. And at one point you have to just kind of tune out to the rest of the world and say, according to me, Mothman is this. According to me, Oedipus is this. According to me, the cobra means this. And all those examples that I just used are really, really good examples. What is that cobra? Is that cobra positive because of its force? Is it an expression of beauty? Is it an expression of surprise? All those things are going to be present in the various versions of the myth, in various degrees of detail and scholarly demonstration and erudition. But at some point or another, none of that crap makes any difference. It's you who has to decide. Okay? And that's what I think kind of the cool thing about this whole exercise. Question?
Just real quick, so I'm having trouble finding 3 separate versions of my myth because they were from a single source document called the Finian Fables. Should I look at?
Okay, there's a really simple answer to that. Okay? And that is, what you should do is, first of all, I mean, I would kind of, if I were you, I would kind of take a deep breath and not exactly start over, but first of all, just do a straight Google and spend 5 minutes scrolling around to see what you can find.
Okay.
Once you've done that, and that, scrolling a little bit might end if you hit on various versions, it's going to take you a little while. But if you see that you either have already seen everything that's popping up, then just go to the UMUC library and then do a search there and see what happens.
Okay.
I think it might be a good idea, if so far you're kind of, coming to a dead end, why don't you chat with the librarian, okay, during basically business hours. Just go chat with the librarian and say, hey, and just explain what we're doing and say, my prof wants to see 3 versions of a myth, like a Disney version of a myth and a more scholarly. Can you help me with the scholarly? And if they get really serious and say, well, I've got 37 volumes, it'll take you a while, just say, he just wants us to take a quick look. Okay, so they don't start to feel pressure. Okay, so, and start sending you stuff. Librarians love to send stuff, and you don't want to have 5,000 pages of attachments. Okay? I mean, my expectations about the scholarly part of this project are very, minimal. Okay? I mean, I don't want anyone spending a lot of time on it. I just want you to see, to have an idea of the expanse and the different idiom that's there. Okay, so the political thing, this is both easy and hard. This is pretty traditional, it's what you would be doing in a political science class. The one thing that I want to warn everyone about is be really careful about the place. Narrower is better. If you have right now America, just, you need to spend 2 hours narrowing that to come to a state, a city, so on and so forth. The same thing with time. Don't do from the beginning of from the Big Bang till now. But keep this, the narrower is best. Narrow scope, the narrower the scope, the better. Someone's going to say, well, can it be too narrow? The answer there is really no. Okay? And then the basic, the thematic, exactly, let me think. You're doing the Trump era. Okay, what aspect of the Trump era? And do your best to kind of narrow in on that. You want to do the political aspect, you want to do immigration, do you want to do the difference between Obama and Trump, do you want to do the future of the world, the age of Trump? As I was saying, in some different contexts, you've got to decide.
So as we go through these slides, do you want us to fill these in?
Basically, yeah. I hadn't thought of that. Well, I want you to come in next time with that kind of done.
Okay.
If you want me to if you want to go ahead and do that, that is absolutely fine, because these are just the templates, kind of produced. If you want to just take this PowerPoint and put place and then, go place, time, scope, and send it to me, that's great. And I will look at it, and actually that's probably a good idea, but I don't want to assign it. I don't want to assign you to do that for various reasons. And then, so.
I'll gladly do it, because the feedback will help let me know if I'm finally have it narrowed down enough.
Yes, no, absolutely. No, it's better. It's, because actually, here, let me sort of just be kind of blunt here. There's one aspect of yours that I'd like to kind of fine tune a little bit. And I haven't done it quite yet. I'm kind of waiting for our dialogue to continue. Okay, and so for next week, this is what I would like you to have ready. First of all, the cover sheet, we've talked about this. You've got a sample cover sheet. Just take the sample and fill it in with your stuff. The PowerPoint slides worked up how detailed you want to be, I'm sorry, I should look at the camera a little more. How detailed you want the PowerPoint slides to be is completely up to you. Have them blocked out. Have the welcome slide with the name of the project, with your name on it, with slide number 2 or slide number 2 and 3, the myth, slide number 3 or slide number 3 and 4, the political situation, and then conclusion, something like that. Okay? And then maybe like a paragraph, the introduction to your whole talk, like 5 sentences, 6 sentences. And then do the outline of the myth in like under 5 sentences. Outline the political situation, 1 or 2 sentences. 1 sentence for both of these is fine. Then the draft of the works cited, and I can tell you in advance, I just want to see that you have version 1, version 2, and version 3. This way I can help you. You see, it's easy to help you. And then a clear statement of your persona. I want that's why I want to do a consultation session and not, in groups, like I said. So we can talk about who you're going to be. Immediate task 5, work on your interview. The thing that's important here is that you know exactly how the interview is going to work into your paper. In your paper and in your presentations, I would like you to do your best to have like 3 sentences at least about the interview, okay? So let me sort of be honest. Let's say you forget the interview, you don't get around to it. Don't lose. So next week, what we'll do is we'll have individual sessions. That is, let's just say between 5:50 and 8 o'clock. Just come in, at your convenience with all of the stuff in the previous slide ready to go, and we will sit down and we'll get it ready for you. So my goal here is that by the time we finish next week, you'll have maybe at the most 2 hours of work for me. Just pull it together a little bit. If there's like any problems, major problems with your paper at that time, I will show you how to resolve it. And we can kind of negotiate how to resolve it. Let's do a worst case thing. Let's say your political situation is America from 1776 to 2018. Is that good?
No.
No, it's not really what we want. Let's say for one reason or another, that's where it stands as of next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You and I, wherever the you is, and I will just kind of negotiate what we're going to do. And let's say you don't want to or you can't budge on that one. Well, that's the way it'll be. It's not going to be like, it's not here. Let me just be honest. I mean, it's not as though you're going to get a D on the presentation, because it's like flaw, and this pretty major flaw. But you're not going to. And you're going to have to commit a very serious felony to get a C, okay? Okay, as long as you do the thing. Okay?
We said political or social issue.
Yeah, I've left that kind of open.
So we're good if it's just misdemeanors,
Right.
right?
Yeah, we're right. Yeah, the misdemeanors are fine. This is a misdemeanor world here. And okay,
Fine,
if you can possibly get everything up, I will in week help me week 6. I'll do a discussion just for this, and I will call it draft, something like this, to distinguish it from the weekly thing. Okay? And so we can get them up so people can share. And then I can also see them and maybe if I think of something, I give them some more feedback, or I can help you with the research. Okay, let's say with yours, you're finding you don't come up with the 3rd version by next week. I'll put my little engine into gear and I'll find them for you.
There's a lot of analysis of the myth, but